first step is always the same. The first step is to apply the derivative operator to both sides of the equation. So write dy over dx must equal d of e to the 4x to the 5th question. Now the process becomes always the same. It's just, the whole idea is you're just substituting repeatedly. So you are looking at this, and you're trying to find a rule that looks exactly like that. So hands up, who knows what rule looks exactly like that? Just wait a minute till everybody find it. So what rule on your green sheet looks exactly like this? The green sheet has to be memorized by the next test. The sooner you get it memorized, the better. The memorization is easiest if you just kind of memorize as you're doing the homework, not separately. So, hands up. What rule gets you? Let's go, Calvin. E rule. So I grab the E rule. How many knew it? Point. Two for Calvin. So the way I memorize the E rule is I think, okay, the derivative of, like I don't think of g of x, it's too many syllables. I just go derivative of e2 something. Derivative of e2 something. So I have here the derivative of e2 something. That's equivalent to, so the next line, this can be abbreviated as y prime. This can be replaced with this, which is e2 that same something multiplied by the derivative of the something. And many of the rules end in exactly the same way. The pattern is always the same. To get from here to here, we're using the E rule. Well, the E rule basically took care of the E portion of the function. Now, we have to take care of this part of the function. So that's why we are taking the derivative of that part. Yeah, that's how this always works. Question? Cool. Hands up. What's the next rule? From your hand. What rule comes next? Okay, everybody for this one? The left side of the room is very heavy. The right side is lacking a bit. Carrie? So the power rule, 4 points for Carrie. You're making a really common mistake. Talk to me and you'll see it. So to use the power rule, you must have derivative of something to a number. So over here, we have derivative, yep. What's the exponent? That's easy. 5. So what is being raised to the exponent? Just the x. So the 4 isn't being raised to the exponent. We kind of make it hard on ourselves because all of us say 4x to the 5th. What we really mean is 4 times x to the 5th. Questions about that? Okay. So we don't use the power rule because the 4 is not being raised to the 5th power. The power rule is used when we have some value, some expression, to a power. We have 4 multiplied by some expression to a power.
But if it was 4x in parentheses to the power, then we could use.
So Chris is correct. If this were the situation, we would definitely use the power rule. 2 points. Do you need me to talk more about it? So hands up, what rule gets used instead? So what rule gets used instead of the power rule? So Julia?
Multiplying constant.
So we use the multiplying constant. How many knew it? Point. 2 for Julia. So the next line is going to say y prime equals. Oh, I got to tell a quick story. students every year are tempted to do the following. They're tempted to just go like this, because it's the same thing, instead of write it down. Okay? Some people just leave it blank, like they just don't write it. Okay? Some people get all creative and they're like, I don't like small d, I'm going to use capital D. Okay? Some people get rather lazy and they just stop writing dx on the bottom. Okay? So here's the story. It's on the video, whatever. In July, you get on the AP website, you type in your login ID, and you retrieve your score. All right? So, have I told you this story? Pretty sure. If you have any of these bad habits, seriously, you put ditto marks, or you leave it blank, or you forget the dx, use a capital D. Remember, small d because it's infinitesimal difference, a small difference. If you make any of those errors as a habit, when you log on in July, here's what will happen. You'll expect to see your score. So I need somebody who's very confident and will not be affected by a minor traumatic experience. I have to tell you the story about my traumatic experience. Not today. Oh, there we go. Garrett, perfect. Okay. So Garrett, he logs on, and he's been talking to Koji, and Cody's like, I got my score. Log on and get your score. He's all excited. Koji got 5. So excited. Garrett logs on, and he's like, I can't find my score. And then finally finds this note that says, you will receive your score in the mail. What? He calls up all his friends, texts them. Everybody's got their score except for him. What's up? So he waits a couple of days. The mail arrives. He gets a big manila envelope. What the heck? He opens up the large manila envelope, and it's his test. He recognizes it, sees his handwriting and everything, right? And he's like, kind of puzzled. This is the written test, not the multiple choice. They would have said not right. He's like, what's up? So he starts flipping through his test, and page after page, he keeps finding this stamp on his test.
I know that stamp.
He finds this stamp on his test. He's like, what? He finally sees a note that says, your score is 0. Okay? It's just a dumb story. But, look, I am serious about one thing. Look, okay, your test is going to be graded by math teachers. Math professors in college, okay? It's like, look, if you put ditto marks here, or you forget the dx, use a capital D, it's really like trying to get a score in AP Lit by writing an essay in some language that you invent. Like the parents go, what the? You can't do that, okay? So, dumb story, but I told a story like that last year, and the students are like, where's the stamp? We want to see the stamp. I'm like, I don't really have a stamp. It's a silly story. So Emily Downing gifted me a stamp. I'm really excited, so I was touched. Just making it, I was kind of worried she's talking about me, but you know. Okay, so make sure you write it down. E to the 4x to the 5th. We take out the 4, constant rule. So pull out the 4. We're left with dx to the 5th over dx. Question? So this was the multiplying constant rule.
So the A on the multiplying constant 4.
So the A would have been, now, you're doing great. Remember, every time you use a rule, the symbols will have different meanings. So this time A is 4, and the F is x to the 5th. So this gets replaced with this. Pretty good? Awesome. Okay. I want to introduce your first shortcut. Okay? If you are comfortable with this shortcut, please feel free to use it. It will save an entire line of writing. If you're uncomfortable, just keep writing it. In a couple of days, you'll be comfortable. When we use the multiplying constant rule, not a whole lot happens. Okay, all we do is take the 4 from inside the derivative and put it outside. So what I would prefer to do is, without writing the orange, I'm going to go to the green. I'm going to write d 4x to the 5th. And I'm going to remember, when I use the multiplying constant, the constant just comes out. And it's just a multiplier. So I just write down multiply by 4. Now I'm going to use the power rule. So the 5 comes down. Power rule says I take the 5. In this case, the g of x would just be x. The new exponent will be 4. Last thing I have to do is take d of gx. So I have a dx over dx. So if you would like to skip the orange, that's fine. You can do multiplying constant and power in one step. Question? So heads up, what are the factors now of y prime? What are the factors of y prime? What are the items that are being multiplied to create y prime? Okay, everybody for this one? What are the factors of y prime? Let's go Canyon.
Just e to the 4x to the 5, and then 4 and 5x.
And this one you could think of as one factor or two. It just kind of depends on your preference. I'm going to think of it as two factors because I want to combine these two factors. So my final result I'll write as y prime equals 20 x to the 4th e to the 4x to the 5th. 2 for Canyon. Who else knew the factor point? Question? Cool. Pick another example.